friends, welcome to the Plaid X2 channel. My name is John. On this channel we talk all things physical media, so movies, music, and books. If you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe down below for more of that kind of content. Well, this is a video I am really excited about. So someone recently on one of my videos commented that I should do a video on favorite films from specific decades. And so what I thought I would do, I thought it'd be kind of neat and fun to do my favorite film from every decade, starting from the 1920s to now. And then when I tried actually putting that list together, it was impossible because there's no way I can land on just one film from a decade. So what I'm going to do is pick my top 3 films from every decade from the 1920s through till today. So we're talking over 100 years of film. What I want to invite you to do is to participate in this video. So let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite films are from all of these different decades, because I would love to add more films to my wish list, films that I should be checking out and maybe even adding to my collection. So friends, here we go. My favorite films from every decade for the last 100 years. All right, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna get into the 1920s, but before I get into the 1920s, I recently did a video on Undercrank Productions, an amazing production company with Ben Modell, they're restoring films and they're representing films, putting music to films, silent films from pre-20s and into the 20s as well, but pre-1920s, which is unbelievable, historic, so important culturally and for film history. So anyway, here are some recommendations pre-1920 that I encourage you to check out. The Mishaps of Musty Suffer. We're talking about 1916 to 1917. Again, these are all, you can find all of these through Undercrank Productions. Highly recommend them. Here's another one, the Marcel Perez Collection. Again, put out by Undercrank Productions. We're talking about films from 1911, 1912, 1914. So good. And the last one I'll recommend to you is Found at Mostly Lost, Volume 2. We're talking about films from 1906, 1907, 1909, 1903, 1910, 1915. Friends, here are a few recommendations pre-1920s that I would encourage you to check out through Undercrank Productions, Ben Modell. There's a video, I'll leave a link to that. Please do check them out. Putting out amazing stuff, incredible film history. Please do check them out. So that's pre-1920s. Let's get into the 1920s. All right, so here we go for the 1920s. This one is one of my favorite films of all time. I've talked about it in countless videos, and of course it'll be here. This is from 1921, and it is The Kid starring Charlie Chaplin. You have to see this film. It is so good. Highly recommend this one from 1921. Next, I'd recommend to you from 1928, also Charlie Chaplin, and it is The Circus. Really great film. I always mention there is one scene in here that made me laugh so hard because it is so stupid, and the comedy is so juvenile, and I love it so much. So anyway, The Circus from 1928. Highly recommend this one. And then the last one from the 20s I will recommend is also from 1928, and it is The Cameraman starring Buster Keaton. So those are my top 3 films from the 1920s. All right, so here we go from the 1930s, friends. This first one is from 1931, and it is my second favorite Chaplin film, and it is City Lights. If you've never seen this one, it is an amazing romantic comedy. I love it. It is so good. Highly recommend it. This one is from 1931. The next one is from 1937, and it is Make Way for Tomorrow. Beautiful, powerful, incredible film. If you've never seen it, absolutely worth it. There's a little more time left in the Criterion sale. This would be a great one to pick up before that sale is over. 1937, Make Way for Tomorrow. And my last pick for the 1930s, this is from 1939 and starring 2 of my absolute favorites of all time in Jean Arthur and James Stewart. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Really outstanding film. Highly recommend it. A great film from the 30s. All right, here are my top 3 from the 1940s. The first one comes in at 1940, and it is one of my all-time favorite films, and it stars Margaret Sullivan and James Stewart in The Shop Around the Corner. Really, really great romantic comedy as well. I would highly recommend this one. If you've never seen it, outstanding. James Stewart is always great. Anyway, great film. Highly recommend that one. The next one also starring James Stewart. I recently received this from my friend Stephanie, and it is beautiful and one of the prized films in my collection now because this is just so beautiful. It's from 1946, and it is this incredible steelbook for It's a Wonderful Life, also starring Donna Reed and James Stewart. I hope you've seen this film. This is like all-time favorite Christmas film for me. Love this one. Again, this is from 1946. Highly recommend this one. And then lastly is a film that I just watched a few months ago and loved it so much. And Kino is putting out quite a few films from this pair this summer. This is from 1947, and it is The Egg and I, starring Claudette Colbert and Fred MacMurray. Really, I think this is a really cute and funny film. Highly recommend this one. Again, this one is from 1947, and so those are my 3 picks from the 1940s. All right, so here are my 3 picks for the 1950s. For me, friends, the 30s, 40s, and 50s are my favorite 3 decades of film, and so it was really tough for me to land on 3, but we did it. So this first one is from 1950, also starring James Stewart, and it is Harvey. This is a really quirky, strange, fun film. If you've never seen it, I do recommend this one highly. Really outstanding. The next one is from 1952. This is a foreign language film, and this is Ikiru. I've mentioned this one on the channel in Criterion recommendation videos. Really recommend this one highly. Really powerful, outstanding. It's going to make you think. And then my last one from the 1950s. This one is from 1955. Recently saw this one maybe 2 months or so ago, and really great. This one came from my friend Miranda as a gift, and really good. And it is The Lady Killers. I laughed so hard in this film. It is such a great comedy, and it's kind of dark too at the same time, but really funny. And so this is my 3rd pick for the 1950s. All right, here are my 3 picks from the 1960s. Now, what I discovered as I was going through this list is that my collection is actually pretty thin when it comes to the 60s and the 70s, even into the 80s a little bit. But anyway, I do have a bunch of films from the 60s that I really do love. And this first one is from 1961. This was a gift from my friend Stephanie, and it is A Raisin in the Sun with Sidney Poitier. Highly recommend this one. Outstanding film. Again, Criterion sale is coming to a close soon. I recommend this one, definitely. Outstanding film. This next one is one that I love so much. My wife and I love watching this one together because it's so fun. It's from 1963 with 2 legends in it, Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn in Charade. Really highly entertaining, funny, engaging film. I love this one. I know Criterion has a release on this one, so maybe someday I'll upgrade it to the Criterion, but for now, this Blu-ray will be just fine. I recommend this one. And then the last one for the 60s, this one is from 1967, and outstanding film, and it is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Spencer Tracy, Sidney Poitier, and Katharine Hepburn. Really enjoyed this film. This one also a gift from my friend Miranda. Love this one. If you've never seen this one, it is just loaded with legends when it comes to the cast. So definitely check this out. These are my 3 picks from the 60s. All right, here we go in the 1970s. This is a great film. It's The Taking of Pelham 123 from 1974, starring one of my all-time favorites, Walter Matthau. If you've never seen this one, highly recommend it. You may have seen the remake with Denzel Washington and John Travolta. It's a great film, but I recommend the original for sure. If you've never seen this one, 1974. The next one is one I just recently watched, and if you want, down below I'll put in the description the link to my reaction to it. This one is from 1975, and it is Jaws. I just saw it for the first time, and it was outstanding. I loved it. Instantly became one of my favorites from the decade of the 70s. And then from 1976, if you've been around this channel any length of time, you already know which film I'm going to say, and it is the original Rocky from 1976. Greatest film franchise of all time, in my opinion. I love it. Highly recommend it. A few years ago, back in Canada, one theater did like the old classic films. They were re-released in the theater, and I got to see the first one in theater, and I got a little teary. It was so awesome to get to see the original Rocky in theaters. So friends, those are my 3 picks from the 1970s. All right, so here we go with our picks from the 1980s. The first one is from 1980, and it is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. It had to have a Star Wars film on this list. You just absolutely have to. So anyway, that is my first pick for the 1980s. My second pick would be from 1987, and that is The Untouchables. This is an amazing film. If you've never seen it, it's so good. The cast is unreal. Kevin Costner, Andy Garcia, Robert De Niro, Sean Connery. Sean Connery is brilliant in this film. So The Untouchables from 1987, and then also from 1987, a film I also just recently watched for the first time and absolutely loved it, and that is Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. So glad to have finally seen this film and absolutely added to the collection, and one that I will revisit over and over. So friends, those are my picks from the 80s. All right, so now we're into the 90s, a decade that is filled with music that I absolutely love and films as well. This one is from 1995, one of my all-time favorite action films, and that is the Michael Mann film, Heat. And the cast in this one is incredible. If you've never seen it, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer. It's so good. The shootout in this one, absolutely legendary. The scene in the cafe, De Niro, Pacino, absolutely legendary. If you've never seen it, check it out, 1995's Heat. Also from 1995, Mel Gibson's Braveheart. Everybody can quote this one. It is such an amazing epic of a film. And so anyway, this one absolutely had to make my list, 1995's Braveheart. And then rounding out my third pick for the 90s is one from 1996. And it is a film that every time I watch it, I smile throughout the whole thing and I leave feeling so happy. And it is That Thing You Do. Tom Hanks, and just again, this is an enormous, incredible cast as well. Tom Everett Scott, Liv Tyler, Steve Zahn. Such a great film. If you've never seen this one, do yourself a favor. Don't just watch it, buy it and watch it. It is so good, you'll want to see it over and over again. So friends, those are my 3 picks from the 90s. All right, so now we're into the 2000s, and this you might say is a bit of a cheat, but I don't care. It's my list, and it's my list. I'm going to do it. This is films from 2001, 2002, and 2003, and it is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This has to be on the list. I'm going to count it as one. It's a trilogy. We'll say it's one massive movie. So anyway, Lord of the Rings trilogy, 2001, 2002, 2003. It's amazing. So thankful to have it in my collection. The next one is from 2007. It is my all-time favorite Adam Sandler film, and it is Reign Over Me. If you've never seen this one, it's worth checking out. It's emotional. It's gripping. Sandler in this role is brilliant. Absolutely love this one. And then my last one for the 2000s, this is my all-time favorite superhero film, and it is The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger was nothing short of brilliant in this film. I've never gone to see a movie more than once in the theater. I went and saw this in IMAX 3 times, was willing to pay that price to see him on IMAX 3 times. Absolutely loved it. Those are my 3 picks for the 2000s. All right, so here are my picks for the 2010s. This first one came out in 2015, one of my all-time favorite films. I've talked about it on this channel before, and absolutely love it, and it is Creed. This film got me so pumped and emotional. It's so good. I absolutely love it. I was nervous when I heard they were making this film, but then they crushed it. It is so good. And the next one is from 2019, and this is a beautiful film. This is put out by A24, and it is The Farewell. Awkwafina is incredible in this. So good. This story is powerful and meaningful. I was absolutely misty-eyed watching this one, and is one I will watch over and over again. Such a great film, The Farewell. And then lastly, for the 2010s, is a great film. So glad to have it in the collection. This was a gift sent to me by my friend Miranda, and I love this one. And it is from 2019, Jojo Rabbit. If you've never seen this one, it is so interesting. It is so unique. It is unlike any film I've ever seen. And the ending I will say is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. The end, I was laughing and crying at the exact same time because it's just perfect how it ends. If you've never seen this one, you've got to check it out. These are my 3 picks for the 2010s. So I did cheat at the beginning by doing a few films pre-1920, and what I'm going to do here at the end, I know we just began in the 2020s, but I'm going to show you my 3 favorite films in this decade so far. And I don't have many from this decade, but I have at least these 3 in my collection that I will keep in my collection because I do like all of these from 2020. The first one is one that I was so curious to see. It's strange, it's weird, but I like it a lot, and I'll watch it every Christmas, and that's Fat Man. It's a strange, unique film. If you like the slipcover on this one, you can get this one in Canada. You see the French on there, and anyway, I did pick this one up from Canada because I love the cover so much. So anyway, Fat Man makes it in for me for 2020. The next pick I have is just a really beautiful animated film, and it's one that I know made a favorites list for quite a few people, and it is Disney Pixar Soul. Really, really great film. I just bought this one recently through Facebook Marketplace for $4, and I did see it before then. But anyway, really great film, great animated film. And then my last pick for 2020, this also has made quite a few people's lists because it's such a beautiful film, also put out by A24, and that is Minari. If you've never seen this one, do yourself a favor. It is a quiet film, but it is beautiful, it is rich, it's important. I highly recommend this one. It's really, really great. And that rounds out for me, friends, my list in the 2020s. Friends, thank you so much for walking with me through over 100 years of films. I really appreciate you taking the time. And let me know in the comments below, what are some of your favorite films from all of these different decades, from 100 years of films? I would love to know what your favorite films are. Friends, if you did like this video, and you'd like to, please hit like. If you want to subscribe for more of this kind of content, I would love to have you do that as well. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this long list of 100 years of films. I really do appreciate it. So I hope you're doing well. Please do take care of yourself. We'll see you next time.